Hey everybody, this is World War Guy here today, and as you guys can hopefully tell, we're doing another review video. This time, hopefully as you can see, it is on World War II USMC P41 utility jackets. Before we get into it, I just want you to know that I am in my house this time instead of typically outside. That is because it's cold and raining outside, so if you hear some noise and movement, please understand. So, I have three different jackets to show you. On the left here we have a Reproduction from SM Wholesale. In the center, an original one, which I believe for World War II, there's no date, but it's very World War II like. And then a Reproduction from at the front. So I'm going to go over there and explain to you my opinions on them. So starting off with the Reproduction from SM Wholesale here. This is a new one that I got for Christmas. It's a bit not proper looking. That's because I washed it to shrink it, because they tell you have to shrink them. So it's a bit, so you understand. Upon looking at it, the color is a nice green color, the way it's supposed to be. This one's a bit faded, we'll get to that. But it's a nice green color. The USMC stamping is very nicely done. If you guys can see from there, but it's a very nicely done stamping, very close to the original that I have. The buttons are nice. They're a blackish color, and I believe that is more of a late World War II production. Normally they would just be left clear, brass color. And yeah, so please excuse again. The stitching is nice. But what I've looked at the originals, they're nice. Now one thing that I've noticed is the breast pocket is a bit more rounded off at the corners here, while the original here is more squared off. That could be mostly a manufacturer difference. I'm sure SM Wholesale, they have an original they can prove with that has a more rounded corner there. Now if you guys can possibly maybe see, the pockets on the SM Wholesale Reproduction they look bigger than the original here. You guys can see that. I'll bring the camera closer later on to show you the differences. I did measure the pockets from the beginning of the seam here to the other side, as well as in that one. And the SM Wholesale one is about 2.5 centimeters wider. Centimeters, not inches. And then same with the breast pocket. The breast pocket is also about 2.5 centimeters wider. This could be a factor from not shrinking it enough, because when I bought it, when I received it, I asked for a size 38, and they shipped a size 40. So I called them and they said you have to shrink them. Very bizarre, because on their website they specifically say you don't need to shrink them. And then I called, SM Wholesale, and they said you have to shrink them. So the reason why maybe 2 centimeters wider is because I still have to shrink it a little bit more. The overall length, I measured it from about, it was flat on the countertop. I measured it from about in the middle there, all the way down to the end here. Again, about 2.5 centimeters longer. Now of course this is not a big problem. 2 centimeters is really just about that much. So it's really not a big problem. So yeah, pros, the color is good, stamping is good, the material is a good material, soft but strong as well. The stamping is good, the pockets are nice, the length is nice. The con is really just a 2 centimeter difference, as well as the website telling you one thing and when you call them they tell you a different thing. But that's a different story. This is just about the product. Now, moving along to at the front reproduction of the jacket. Well, as you guys can probably see, it is significantly longer than the Reproduction. And let me put the original next to it. That's about the same height. You can see there is a big difference there. about that big of a difference in length. So when you're wearing it, it looks like you're wearing some sort of dress, and that's not normal. That's not correct. At the front on their website, they say that it's a accurate reproduction. It's not. You can already tell by the length. It's not supposed to be that long. And then the pockets are also different. I'll show you later on more detail. I'll do a close-up. But from here, the breast pocket is about 3 centimeters smaller. So this was 2.5 centimeters wider, 3 centimeters smaller or shorter. Same goes with the pockets by the side, your side pockets. They're about 2.5, 3 centimeters smaller than the original, which is a bummer. Also, now let me get this straight. I'll tell you right now, the quality is nice. Like when you touch it, the HBT itself is nice. It's a durable thing. It won't break in your hand. I've been rough with it. It's a good jacket. It's not an accurate jacket. That's the problem. The buttons are nice. They're well stamped with the USMC on it, or US Marine Corps. And then the stamping itself is actually well done. It's just not placed well enough. And since the breast pocket's smaller, it goes over the stitching when it's not supposed to. Which is, again, a bummer because they even say that the Marine Corps approves these. They look at them like, yeah, we're proud of that. Which is a big bummer. The color, as you can see from the reproductions, are different. This one has been faded quite a bit. I've had this for about, I want to say 2 years, maybe a bit more actually. So it's been in the sun a lot. I've worn it everywhere, even just for for looks. So it's been in the sun a lot. It's been faded a lot, which is actually pretty close to this color, as you can see here. And this is still pretty good green compared to this, but the color is not 100% off. It's not like a gray color. As you can see here on the mannequins, I did try to bring them to the same height, and you can see here the difference in length. Now, this is from a distance. I'll now bring the camera closer so you guys can see the closer differences as what I was talking about. So let's just travel a little bit. Alright, so here is the stamping for the original jacket. You can see here you have the stitching that goes down right here. And then you have about, I want to say, an inch gap before the first stampings are there. And that's what the eagle looks like. There's no details such as like Vietnam era items where there's like lines on the globe and stuff like that. Here is the stamping on the SM Wholesale Reproduction. So you have the stitching here, which the stitching distance is a bit different. It's a bit wider here than here. As you can see, stitch right there, stitch right there. It's a bit wider. But they have about the same inch gap here, and the stamping is not on the stitch. Again, the EGA is well printed, and of course this one's not faded, so that's why it looks different there. Here are the buttons on the original one. US Marine Corps. It's a bit weirdly done. That's just the way it's done though, because it reads sort of Marine Corps US or US Corps Marine. I don't know. You get it. And then here's the reproduction. Oh, my bad. Of SM Wholesale. Now you see this one's a bit black, but I believe that's just a late war variant if I'm correct. So now moving to the at the front one. Here's the stamping on the at the front one, if it focuses. Come on. Excuse me for my sniffling. Oh my god. There we go. Now as you can see here, there's not an inch gap. It's more of a 1/2 inch. The stamping is on the stitching, so there's no gap, there's not a big gap here. But the stamping itself, if we look at the letters and the EGA, they are well done. They're nice. It's not perfect, but it's still acceptable. It's just the placement that's wrong. And also because the breast pocket is wrong. You can fit about my hand there without the thumb. I can't fit the thumb. And it's a snug fit. While here, I can fit my whole hand and my thumb. Now, of course, my hand's different than your hand, but you can see a difference there. I can't even fit my thumb in here, and it's a snug fit the way it is right now. While there, I can fit my thumb, and I still have a little bit of room. And then here's the button, the at the front button, which is, again, it's good. The letters are about the same size as the original. Let's do this one. If I can, let's make it easy. There we go. So yeah, that is the reproduction and original USMC P41 utility jackets. As you can see here, the 3 different colors, which all are actually acceptable. Some are pretty faded to this color, but it's just not as likely. This is a bit more uncommon. So the pros from the at the front one right here is the HBT itself is a good quality. It won't tear apart quickly. The color is acceptable and the buttons are nice. The cons is it's just too long in length and the pockets are too small in width, so you can't fit. If you have big hands, it's a bit harder for you than the original one. And then for the SM Wholesale reproduction here, pros, the color is acceptable, it's a correct color. The pockets are a bit bigger, but they are still fine. I believe it's just was shrinking. The stamping is correctly placed, and the buttons are also correct. And again, the length is the correct length compared to the original. The con, it comes in a bigger size than what you order, but that's SM Wholesale's fault. And I mean, if you're really stickler about it, the pockets, they are a bit bigger. So if that's a big problem for you, then that's something you might consider. Overall, you'll be happy with the reproduction SM Wholesale one. I'm happy with it. I got it during Christmas or winter, so I haven't been able to take it to the field yet for any good testing. So you'll be very happy. This one runs for about $75 plus shipping. So it's a good price compared to World War II Impressions, which is like $110. So you make the decision. I hear both of them are very good quality, very similar. So that's for you to decide. And the at the front one, I forgot the price, but I believe it's about $60. So it's cheaper, yes, but it's very inaccurate. I would not recommend it. I got it because it was cheap. At the front, at the time, I was like, yeah, they don't lie. They're truthful. For the most part, they are truthful, just not for this. But it is too long, and I really don't think you show up to an event like this, you're gonna have other Marine Corps reenactors point at you and criticize your jacket. I know I have, but that's a story for another time. So I hope you guys found this video informative and useful for your next purchase. Again, I'll probably put the description or the link in the description, for the SM Wholesale and the the at the front one, so you guys can check it out for yourselves. But yes, I hope this was useful, so you can help decide for your next purchase. If you guys liked the video, please drop a like. If you guys want to comment on your experiences, your opinions, so on, please write a comment. And if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. But besides that, you guys have a great day.